What do you think? You like the music?
I'm totally digging it.
Okay, now I've got to find it. There we go. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Tiff and Jack here. for your empath pleasure.
Yeah.
Here we are. So we are Tiff and Jack. If you're new, we want to know where you're from. Thank you. Oh my God, like we already have all these amazing comments. So could you hear the music? Did you love it?
I totally dug the music.
Right? Nice vibe going on.
It's so us.
It really
I heard that and I'm like, that sounds like we're like having a night out.
Totally. Okay, let me just turn this off. Okay. So welcome. Today we are talking about your intuition. And because you're an empath, this is a very important conversation. And today we're going to talk about 9 ways to help you really identify and understand and recognize your own intuition and how it works. And we want this to be a candid conversation. So as we're talking and sharing, be sure to ask your questions, make your comments, pop them into the thread. We would love to have you share here with us on the call. So, and also love to know where you're all joining us from.
And you notice we have a different background today because we're down in our great room. We decided to like shake it up.
We thought we'd keep it fresh
today. This is where we used to do all of our recordings and shows, and we just thought we would do something a little bit different today. Feels kind of good, kind of weird. Show everyone your
we have so many things to show.
So we're doing our podcast right before this, and Jack is going down energy-wise. I'm like, what is going on? Like, I think I have an allergic reaction to the peanuts I just ate. And I'm like, well, that's possible.
Not like a true nut allergy. Okay?
No, just like fast heartbeat, kind of feeling low energy. And since we're talking about intuition, I'm like, I wonder what's going on. So he's doing some things to kind of manage his energy. And I walk upstairs and I get the strong hit, boom, right in the face. He's not had his coffee today. And then I have to shame him for not controlling his addiction.
Oh, right. It's a real deal. I just ordered something called mud water.
You did?
Yeah, it's supposed to be for people that don't want to drink as much coffee, but still have the
I've heard
ritual.
Of that.
Yeah, I just ordered it.
Why?
So I'll let y'all know how it is.
And you bought that one that drink that's in the fridge. That's that coffee drink. Remember?
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah, Jack is not. Does not have a very addictive personality. So even though he has an addiction to coffee, it doesn't occur to him that he needs to have a glass every morning.
I know. What is that?
It's gone. So I have to go like this.
Rita's having her coffee now too. Cheers. Cheers to everyone having their coffee now.
Yeah. Yeah.
As I said at Starbucks, Merritt. Okay. If any of you love Starbucks, we love Starbucks. Okay. What place here in the thread what your favorite order from Starbucks is?
Mine is the mango dragon fruit refresher. And I didn't know it had caffeine in it. I just am like, this is the most refreshing drink ever. And I feel so fantastic when I drink it. It's got as much as a cup of coffee in it, which I seem to manage fine.
No, your favorite drink is not just mango dragon fruit refresher. It's mango dragon fruit refresher, light ice, extra inclusion.
Yeah. And if they get it wrong, I make them take it back and fix it. Because I like extra dry dragon fruit because it stays crunchy through the whole thing. And then it's like a 2-hour ritual, me drinking that drink probably almost every day.
And I get a hot blonde Americano, size grande, with breve.
I think he's trying to tell me he wants me to dye my hair.
No, you were blonde. You were blonde when you're in
most of my life. I was blonde.
Yeah, seriously, venti blonde. I always get a grande. Dandelion tea tastes like coffee. Interesting. Very cool. Rosemary, she's not about the coffee. She's about the Diet Coke addiction.
We all have an addiction. And if you think you don't, you're just lying to yourself. Because we all have something.
Rita said full fat chocolate with whipped cream over ice. Packing all the sugar and fat you can in one cup.
Rita, you and I, we appreciate the decadence of life. I know.
And then Carrie just agreed with Perusa, and I want to know what Perusa said. Oh, mocha frappuccino.
A venti blonde.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Breve quad shop for me. Nice.
Doris, I have been in that place before, and if I lived by you, I would buy you one every day just so you had it.
Seriously.
You know, life is full. We're sitting at the kitchen table, and I have a few things here, and I thought today I'd smoke a cigar while we're on our call. This is a chocolate Cuban cigar that has been handmade by a third generation Cuban cigar roller. Can you
really
smell
smoke
it?
Cigars.
No, are you kidding? Can you imagine me smoking a cigar, but I just went like this a minute ago?
Looks good on
like
you.
Jack. And the reason it's out is because I bought this crystal. You know how I love crystal cigar dish, but it's for cigarettes, and so I had to take it out to see if it would work, and it doesn't. It just kind of sits there.
The groove is too small.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. So, but there is one other thing I have to show you. This is my new purchase. See this little bird?
Our son thought it was so stupid.
And I don't care because when you pour your wine, it goes like a bird. So that's my show and tell.
Cute. We got that at the bird store. Aren't bird stores like the bird feeder stores? They're amazing.
Yes. So, listen, I don't know who the Facebook user is that says the smell of cigars makes me nauseous. I don't know if you'd feel that way because this smells like sweet chocolate. Oh, it is the best smell. And when Jack smokes it, which he doesn't smoke cigars every day, it's just kind of a ritual he does on occasion. He comes in and his whole face and beard and hands for almost the whole day smell like chocolate, and then I want to eat his face off.
Merritt said, that's so funny you said that, Tiff, about dairies. When I was there in Utah, I put a message out to the group asking people if they knew where you got your bobas because I wanted to get you a gift card so you could get them the rest of the year. But ended up getting you a blanket instead, and the blanket is gorgeous.
Yes, it is. Merritt, thank you so much for your sweet thoughtfulness. You're really very generous.
That really, you very much are. Luann said, my favorite used to be mocha. However, black chai with vanilla, cinnamon, cardamom, cloves, ginger, with hot chocolate and peppermint. Nice.
I like it. So, guys, today we thought we would switch it up again and do our rebel deck. But you know what we're going to do is we're not going to say the F word. We're just going to say
we're going to try not to.
Because I just don't want to say it.
I just said hi to you, Penny. I just wanted to see if I could put a comment in the thread. Hi, Penny.
Okay. So everyone, get your question ready. I'm going to draw 3 cards.
Oh, get it ready. It's going to be good.
I'm going to do my question. Okay. Okay. Here we go. There it is. There is another. Oh. There we go. Okay, babe, you read them.
Okay, let's do this.
And my question is, what does the universe want me to know about my current situation, which I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just wanting to know what the universe does.
Okay, number 1.
And wait, go ahead if you want to share what your question is in your mind in the strand, if you feel that brave today. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, the first answer is you're giving too many fucks. Give 0. Oh, I was not going to say. I did. See, it just happened. Number 2, you think someone is lying. They are.
We pull that one a lot.
We do. You're going through some tough shit. Everyone has their turn. Welcome to yours. Gather your tired ass up and handle it.
That would be mine. Awesome. That would be mine today.
Number 1, you're giving too many fucks. Give 0. You think someone is lying. They are. You're going through some tough shit right now. Everyone has their turn. Welcome to yours. Gather your tired ass up and handle it.
That's me. That's mine. What is yours, friends? What is yours? Which number? Mine's number 3. Doris, you and me, sister.
And Rita, which one do you feel like was any of these an answer to your question? Am I ready? Will I succeed? So you'll have to share. All 3 for Luann, Perusa, number 3.
Very good.
Leona 1 and 3. It's awesome because I can look back at the cards. Number 1.
Giving too many F's. F's.
You think someone's lying. You're going through tough shit. Nice.
Number 3 was big for quite a few people today.
Yeah, right.
Nice. Well, here in Salt Lake City, Utah, we're sitting in the middle of winter weather in the middle of spring, which is very typical for Utah. The secret of living here in Utah and having a beautiful plant season is to not buy your flowers until May 15th or after. But it starts to become spring sometimes in March. And we get so excited, and then we get another snowstorm, and it kills the plants. And then we get excited because we have a week of spring again, and it's like, ooh, let's go buy yard furniture and flowers like I typically do. We bought our yard furniture last week, and it's been snowing for 2 days. And it's just been a comedy of errors, but I have not given in to the flower purchasing yet. I'm waiting until the middle of next month because then my flowers won't die. I did buy a geranium, 2 potted geraniums, but I can bring those in the house. And they're just sitting in here with me, so happy, blooming, waiting for the spring just as much as I am. So it's colder than F. And I have not pulled out my summer clothes either, which I'm trying to do, but it's just not time. And this is that time of year where I kind of am tired of the cold, but super, super grateful for the moisture because of the drought that we've been in for 100 years. And so I am not going to even complain for 1 ounce of water that is outside, but man, I'm cold. And I'm excited for the spring. Thank you.
She already loves your necklace.
Thank you. It's one of my favorites. I'm a tree and leaf person, so when I saw this at TJ Maxx, I bought a gold one and a silver one, so I really do love it. Thank you so much for appreciating that about my necklace. Thank you.
Rita said, I'm just setting my seats today. It's hotter than hell here in Florida.
Isn't that funny? The grass is always greener, I tell ya. Okay. So today is all about intuition, friends. And many, many empaths, many people, but empaths most especially, ask the question, how do I know if it's my intuition or my fear? So we're going to be talking about 9 ways that you can pay attention to your intuition. And they're little tips and tricks. Help you go, oh, that's my intuition. And especially at work, we need to use our intuition at work so that we can have a great experience. So we're going to be talking about those. Why don't you start with sharing about intuition? And I'm a very...
You start with the definition because I can't sum it up.
Okay, intuition is where you understand something with little to no explanation of how you know something. And you get to live with someone with high intuition. You poor SOB.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that attracted me to you so fast was because I watched you trust your intuition and take action on it so quick. And I had never really experienced that. I wasn't aware of my own intuition in the way of what it was and that I was getting hits about what would be a good move for me to make. I just didn't understand. But when I met you, it was amazing to watch you trust your intuition, and you would trust it so quick. You would pay attention and take action. And it was quite profound because I had never seen someone trust what I thought was themselves. That's how I looked at it. It was trusting yourself, right? Trusting your intuition. And I was mesmerized. Legitimately. I thought it was amazing. I was watching you come off of all your medications and that you were married at the time when we first met and your husband had lost his job and you had no money and you were coming off of, I don't know how many different pills.
About 26. Psychotropic drugs.
By the doc.
Yeah. And it was funny because I was on all this medication and one medication would treat the side effects of the other medication. And I was taking those for about 25 years and it was about $6,000 without insurance. So I truly did know that it was time to come off them. So I gradually, by using my intuition, over a 30-day period, came off all of my medication. And Merit. Okay, where was I? I came off my medication and never went back on again and allowed my body to heal itself. I was diagnosed with everything except for schizophrenia. And if I would have told the doctors that I talked to the dead, they would think I was schizophrenic as well. So, yeah, it was a journey and intuition. And here's something you may not know about your unconscious brain is that when you make a decision to do something, if you don't act on it quickly, you will naturally talk yourself out of doing that decision because the prime directive of your unconscious brain is to keep things comfortable and the same as a safety default setting. And so it's always trying to protect you and keep you comfy. And anything that you want that's different is out of your comfort zone. And if you think too much about it, you're not going to act. That's just science. That's not anything other than that's just how the brain works. So when I get an intuitive hit, I act immediately or I won't do it. And I know that about myself. So that's just a side note for all y'all. If you want to understand how the brain scientifically works, when you get that intuitive hit, act on it immediately, trust it. And people are like, how do you trust your intuition? And it really comes down to practice. Is once you trust your intuition and you act several times on that intuition and you see how it turns out and you're like, oh, I'm glad I listened, then you have that in your arsenal of understanding of like, oh, this is a real deal. And then it's so much easier to act the next time. Does that make sense?
Yes, and I have to speak to Merritt. Merritt said he was watching your breast. That's what mesmerized him. That's because Merritt knows our story, and Tiff's cleavage really blew my mind. But that was long before I had not transitioned to the male gender.
Oh, you man.
It was a very shocking discovery. Okay. Shocking discovery that I could not stop feeling the energy of the cleavage. Yeah, and that's just going to have to be another story for another day.
Breasts and cleavage carry a lot of power.
They do.
They carry a real energy of nourishment and nurturing, and it does draw people to them.
Yep.
I mean, if we're looking at why they're so attractive, it's an energy thing. So leave it to the empath.
Merritt said you and Jack have to watch the series on Netflix called The Gift.
I've seen it. Yeah, I have been watching it. Cool. It's awesome. But nice. Yeah, I read that in your post, Merritt. So everybody, it's a great show, especially about intuition. So good. Okay. So another thing I want to say is that when you feel like your intuition is saying something, especially at work, and you don't pay attention to it, something will probably feel off. Okay. That's when you do your investigation. You start to investigate. But I'm going to give you pretty powerful information on how to recognize intuition. Perusa, thank you.
I was typing a little note.
I take that as a compliment. I'm all about the sensual goddess energy, so thank you so much. Okay, number one. Some of the opportunities that come to you keep coming, or you have repetitive messages that keep coming over and over and over until you pay attention to them. There's this idea that if you miss an opportunity, you're not ever going to get it again. How many of you have been told that or believe that if you miss an opportunity, it's gone forever? Please share in the strand. There is this thing out there. You may miss a specific opportunity, but one of equal or more value will come to you again until you accept it. So you don't have to be in a massive hurry to pay attention perfectly to absolutely everything and act on everything all the time, because it will just keep coming until you pay attention to it, which is such a relief. My gosh. And I'll share one of the stories.
They're saying yes.
About what
they had been taught.
Yes. So you're not going to miss your boat, guys, because you're in your boat. You can't miss it. You're in it. Okay. So let me share an intuitive hit that I had. I used to be a binge eater. So when I would eat, I would just eat a whole bunch of things. I kind of have a binge personality. Like if I ever wanted to drink, I would binge drink because it's just so fun. And so I'm kind of a binge person. And I'm not a binge eater anymore, but back 15 years ago, I was a binge eater. Actually, 17 years ago, I was a binge eater. And I kept getting this hit to go to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to a group and talk about being a compulsive overeater. I'm not doing it. And it just kept hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. And then I had my sister-in-law move in with us that was a severe alcoholic. She's no longer alive at this point. And she was just having such a hard time managing her addiction. And I said, if you're going to live with us, you have to go to a 12-step meeting or you can't be here. And I thought, God, if I'm going to demand that she does that, I better take it into heart too. And I've been getting this intuitive nudge for 2 years to go to an Overeaters Anonymous. So finally, I get myself to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting. And guess who's sitting in the Overeaters Anonymous meeting? Well, not that day, but a month later was Jack. And Jack went to an Overeaters Anonymous meeting for 2 years before I got there. Isn't that weird that I had that hit for 2 years? We could have had 2 years more together.
Yeah, well, it was perfect timing.
Yeah. So that was one of those hits, and Jack has a totally different thing. He's not a binge anything. As you can see, I can't even get him to drink his coffee to deal with his addiction.
Yeah, I picked up my food obsession right after my dad died. And I was just looking for a way to control my surroundings. And so I went on my first diet within probably 2 days after he died. And it was the Beverly Hills diet. Have you been on it?
Ooh.
Pineapple diet. I've been on every diet you could ever be on. And no longer do I live that way. But the 12-step meeting was very, very important for so many reasons. And I had my own intuitive knowingness about going there. And it was that 2 years. I actually think I really needed that 2 years without you being in the meeting for me to release some of my. It's not funny. It's serious.
I'm sure I would have destroyed him earlier.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I needed time to grow my identity without feeling like God was going to punish me, because to be with you went against everything that I had taught. Yeah, religious, and I was very religious. So it took me a good while, but that 2 years, it was loosening up my idea and giving me a bigger, easier idea of God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Merritt says, I feel like I missed opportunities when I've come up with an invention and didn't act on it, and then saw someone else making that product a year or two later. So it's true. You can miss specific opportunities, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get more opportunities to flourish in the same way. So Merritt, if you feel like you're an inventor, then there's some stuff that you can call in. It's like, what's the next invention? And then act on it and see what happens. When you feel like you've missed an opportunity, it's like, well, I guess that's done. And that's never really how the universe works. The universe is here to help support us, and you will continue to get thoughts like I did about the 12-step meeting. And it was very important that I meet Jack, and I did. But it took me 2 years of being nudged and nudged and nudged and nudged, and finally I went. And he'd been there for 2 years already. And thank God I listened and went.
And I think it all happened in the perfect time.
Yeah, it did.
I think that nudge was supposed to be 2 years long.
And if I never did go, then we would have bumped into each other somewhere else.
It would have been.
You know what I mean?
Yes. And Rosemary, you said, is that your dad? Actually, my dad's in a whole bunch of these pictures.
Doesn't he look like Ben Affleck? Isn't he cute? You can tell the resemblance. He sure was a sweet guy. Yeah. Okay. So number 1, same opportunities keep coming, or repetitive messages keep coming in. Okay. Number 2, peaceful feelings of calm in your body when you think about a certain situation, even if it doesn't seem like there's an answer. It's just, you just feel peaceful and calm about a certain situation, no matter what the scenario is. That's your intuition. And you'll typically feel it in your chest or your tummy. How many of you feel your intuition, that thing in your chest? Whether you feel it in your chest, tummy, or both. Then you feel it in your head?
Yeah. It's always more of a thought. more than a feeling.
Yeah, I would say my intuition radiates from my chest to my stomach like this. And did you know this? That your serotonin, which controls your mood, your sleep, and your movement, 80% of it is in your gut. We all think that neurotransmitters in the brain. Yes, 20% is in the brain, but most of it's in your gut. That's why we get those gut feelings, because we're paying attention to that energy there. Isn't that fascinating? I just think that's so awesome.
Tummy, gut,
Perusa's head.
Perusa's head. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting, right? Isn't that awesome to share? Because then you can see how similar you are to other people, other empaths.
And Babs said, I have actually heard the universe say to me, I will support you no matter what you decide. Right? Because
That's
it
true.
really is our creative element to decide.
And that really is the truth.
It is the truth.
It is the truth. Yeah. And here, the reason we have our intuition is to make things move a little smoother for us, to give us a little heads up. If we choose not to go with it, it doesn't mean we're not going to get to where we're going, but it may not be as smooth for us. Like GPS. Yeah. Okay, number 3, joyful or confident feelings with your decisions, even if they seem irrational. I have lived this, okay? So huge. Coming into relationship with Jack, it looked absolutely impossible from where we came from in our life with religion and family. We both had children. We had long-term marriages. The religion that we lived in could not support the love that we felt for each other. It felt completely impossible, but I felt, and I can't speak for Jack, but I felt totally peaceful and calm, and I knew what to do, even though it looked impossible. I still felt that peace. I felt scared too, but it was just this underlying peace and calm of like, yes, it's okay, just keep walking. How many of you have felt that, where there's this irrational thing happening, yet you still feel calm and peaceful?
Well, that's where I really was too with our relationship when I was making my full decision about really being in a relationship with Tiff. I had to really sit with it, and my head was screaming at me all the reasons why I could be a man. And that's where my head was. I was not getting a clear knowing in my head. My head was yelling at me to go the other way, run. And that was just my primitive brain saying, no, don't do that. That's going to be totally different. You're going to be out of sorts. So just stay in following all the church rules and everything you've been taught. Stay in your marriage. Don't do anything. Don't follow your heart. That was a heart thing for me.
Well, you were out of your marriage, weren't you?
Yeah, I had gotten divorced after a year.
Yeah.
But man, I remember that decision. And when I really felt into it, and this was a feeling decision that I made, it felt so peaceful.
Where did you feel that?
In my heart, totally in my heart. And it felt so calm and so clear. And my head was losing it so bad that I followed my heart.
Yeah.
And it's really paid off.
15 years later,
really paid off.
Wow, what we live now was way more than what I thought it would be, and I thought it would be great.
Yeah,
but it's way. I'm so glad we both listened.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Number 4. The thoughts keep pulling you to something over and over. So your thoughts just keep bringing the same thing back over and over.
That's my main way. That's how my intuition often is. Just it's like a thought that sits into my brain, and it just kind of slowly, gradually gets bigger and bigger and bigger until I'm like, oh, it's time. Yes, and this is how I make my business decisions. It's based on this intuitive knowingness that comes in. And I can just feel, and right now I'm sitting on a couple of things that are working their way to fruition, and I'll know when it's time to implement, but it's just a knowingness, and it's so clear, and it just keeps sitting there, just where it is.
Yeah, this one is a really interesting one, because you can get those thoughts that just keep coming over and over and over. That's what happened to me with going to the Overeaters Anonymous meeting. And it's so funny, because Jack and we were a facilitator of that meeting together for 2 or 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we stayed there for a really long time. We learned some really beautiful things.
We were companions.
Yes, we were. We
That
were
was before
companions.
it was like the perfect
We
word
were
to call
Mormon mission companions.
Yeah, we were working the 12-step program in the Mormon church.
Yeah.
That's what we were.
So we were truly companions.
Yeah, we were.
And still are.
Good buddies.
Companions with benefits.
That's fun.
Right. Okay. So have you ever had that experience where someone will say, oh, I read this book and it's really amazing. And you're like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then you hear a couple other people that we talk about the same book and you keep hearing it. And then you're like, oh, I must need to read that book. And then you read it and you're like, that changed my life. This is the kind of stuff we're talking about. The repetitive things that keep coming in over and over, whether it's a thought or you hear someone say something. And it's like, isn't that weird? I just heard someone talking about that. I must need to pay attention. This is your intuition. Isn't that awesome? I love it when that happens.
Luann said, editing my answer is both my head and thought and heart. My mind will argue thought, my mind will argue my thought and won't leave me alone in my heart continues.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Number 5. Okay. You feel uneasy when you ignore that gut feeling. How many? Okay. I know we've all had this. It just keeps pinging you, and you start feeling like, oh, I'm feeling uneasy. I just really need to like pay attention to this. Okay, it's that uneasy feeling, and the reason again that this happens is because the unconscious mind wants you to keep everything the same, so you feel comfortable and happy and feel safe. Anything that you want that is outside of what you have right now will take you outside of your comfort zone and will give you that feeling of alarm. It's like, oh my gosh, but your intuition can put that feeling here in your tummy.
It's like bite you in the hiney.
Yes. Or it can, if you're like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do it. And I also had a very intuitive hit. I had a dream about Jack, and I shared this on the podcast. I've had this male voice talking to me since I was born. And this male voice has supported me and taught me and helped me through my entire life. Even in the kitchen, he's in with me in the kitchen when I'm cooking or baking to say, oh, try this and add this. This will be amazing. And it's like this male voice is this companion I've always had. And I had this dream about Jack, and it was this male voice that said, call Jack and tell him your dream. And I'm like, no, Jack will think I'm crazy. I'm not doing it. And for 3 days, he just said, you've got to call. And I started feeling really, really uneasy and yucky. And finally, I just called Jack. Jack had an experience where he was taking a nap on his lunch break and heard a voice say, Tiffany has something to tell you. You need to listen to her. And then I called and Jack said, oh, I've been waiting for your call. And I shared the dream, and it changed our entire life. And here we are together doing what we're here to do. So these are the types of things that you'll get bugged and you'll feel so uneasy, but you'll want to stay safe and you won't want to take action, and it'll just keep bugging you until you do. Okay. Yep, everyone knows what I'm talking about. What's this?
I will meet someone new and have a sense that our paths will cross again, and that we'll have a meaningful relationship.
Awesome.
Then what happens next?
Yep. Okay. Number 6, lucid dreaming. If you don't know what lucid dreaming is, it means when you're in a dream, you know you're dreaming. And there's a message for you there. I just had this happen last week where Jack and I were driving on a road and we were seeing amazing, beautiful things. It was a very meaningful dream. And I knew I was dreaming in my dream, and I was trying to pay attention in my dream because I knew it was a message. And then I woke up.
It was an amazing message.
It was
very
fox powerful.
And an owl.
Yes.
That came together and sat together looking at her like, you know that we see you and you see it.
Yeah, and we have a message.
Yeah, that was a big one.
Yes, so that's what lucid dreaming means. How many of you have had a dream and you know inside the dream you're dreaming? Please share. Because some people think vivid dreams are the same thing as lucid dreams. I thought that for a really long time. So vivid dreams also with really bright colors and feel super, super real. Those typically are experiences that have messages for us. Look at that.
Wow. Yes.
Wow, guys.
Yes,
impressive.
Yes, not often. I haven't. I don't know that I.
The lucid dreaming?
Yeah, I dream all the time, but I don't know that I.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. The only time I have lucid dreams is when there's a message coming through a vision or a dream, and then that happens. And I have vivid dreams sometimes, and those are also things that I pay attention to. But you have vivid dreams all the time. Mm-hmm. Are you ready to start laughing?
Oh, I could laugh. I have really ridiculous, wild, crazy.
What does flying mean? Well, that's connected to freedom. So if you're having flying dreams, it's just about you in your personal power and freedom. So if you ever wonder about your dreams, just get online and look up what does it mean when this is happening in my dream, and you'll be able to read a bunch of stuff, and your intuition will tell you what's right for you. I am such a huge proponent on living life by intuition because it's how I've lived my whole life. Yeah. So yes. Number 7, aha moments. How many of you get aha moments often? An aha moment is the moment where you're like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. Or this new piece of clarity comes in that you didn't see before, and you're like, wow, this is happening. How many of you have experienced that? You have aha moments a lot.
Yeah, I really do. I love aha moments. Boy, all the time. Yes. A few days ago while I was sleeping, I smelled a beautiful fragrance. It woke me up 3 times that night. Awesome smell.
Nice. Okay. Number 8. Do you want to read it?
Feeling ill or stressed when you ignore
when you ignore your intuition.
And then when you ignore it, you will feel depressed or anxious.
How many of you have had an intuitive nudge and you don't do it, and then you start feeling sick or stressed and get depression and anxiety? I have many times. So some people are like, is something happening? Why do I feel sick? I feel like I should quit my job, but I just keep getting sick. It's like a message, but I'm too afraid to do it.
Everything you want that you don't have right now is outside of that comfort.
It's going to scare you.
It is. And it's just your primitive brain. It's just your brain trying to keep everything status quo.
Yeah.
That's all. So it's easier to face the fear when you realize, oh, it's just my primitive brain saying, don't change a thing. Just stay the same for the rest of forever.
Yeah, and a lot of people will listen to the fear and think it's their intuition and don't act, and then they don't do anything new. If you feel afraid when you're making a decision, you know you're on track. If you feel a sense of peace when you made that decision, stick with that, because if that goes away and then you become afraid, it's just your primitive brain, that part of the brain that's like, you have to stay the same because this is not safe, not safe, not safe. It doesn't mean it's not safe. It's just your unconscious brain trying to make you feel comfortable. And keep doing it. Mm-hmm. I used to live by the fear responses because I thought it was a meaning that it wasn't. And so I'm like, oh, I have a sick feeling about that. That's my intuition or my power of discernment. I better not do that. There's a very different thing. When you feel like, say you're driving on a road and you get this really strong hit, do not turn down that road. You can feel it. It's just one of those feelings, and you can feel it's like a sure knowing along with, like, ooh, that's kind of scary, but I'm not going to do that. And you turn a different direction and then you avoid a car accident. But you'll always have that strong knowing or that peaceful calm with it. Fear is just that frenetic, like, I can't do it, I'm too afraid. That's the fear. And that's just your brain. That's just your brain playing tricks on you.
And if you have any questions, pop them in. This is a big, big topic of fear versus intuition.
Yeah. How many of you, and this is just an interesting question, have married someone and you could tell it was a mistake mistake that you married them right after you married them, and then you spent several years not feeling well after. How many of you have had that experience? How about you?
Definitely.
Okay. Bam, yes, Cecilia. Before I did 20 years, Kim.
Me too.
Yep.
Me too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, some people know what I'm talking about with that one. Okay, the last one. Number 9.
Still in it. 47 years.
Yep.
God
I hear
bless you.
ya. 16 years. Yep. 7 years. First time. Yep. Okay, we know. And there's also support for you when you're ready to do something different. Okay. Okay, number 9. The feeling just won't go away. It will not let up. It just keeps bugging you until you do something. How many of you have had that experience where it just keeps bugging you? It's like a constant gnawing and it will not stop until you make a change. Then you decide to do it. You listen to your intuition. Then you're in a state of relief. How many of you experienced that? Yes. Absolutely yes. Yes. Daily yes. 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 Yep.
All the time.
Okay, so I'm going to go through these again just really quickly. The same opportunities or repetitive messages keep coming. Number 2, peaceful feelings of calm in your body, like chest and tummy, when you're thinking about specific situations. A joyful or confident feeling when your decision seems to be irrational. Okay. Number 4, the thoughts that keep being told to you over and over in your mind, or like things happen over and over, repetitive experiences. Number 5, you feel uneasy when you ignore the gut feeling because, of course, you want to stay safe. Number 6, lucid dreams or vivid dreams. Number 7, aha moments. Number 8, feeling ill or stressed when you ignore your intuition, which then leaves you with anxiety and depression. And number 9, the feeling just won't go away. This is the way to pay attention to your intuition, even at work. And remember, if you listen to your gut and you're like, something feels off, it probably is, and that's when you'll investigate. And this comes along really handy when you're at work. If you're like, oh, something's not right here, and you investigate, you can really make a big difference at work using your intuition. And practice just helps you get better and better at using your intuition. There's no other way for you to trust your intuition other than to practice doing it. Okay, it's not like all of a sudden there's a magic pill of like you're going to trust yourself implicitly. You have to do it and do it fast, and then you'll get that information that's like, oh, my intuition was spot on this time. And that means next time it's probably going to be spot on again. And then you just get more trust and more trust and more trust. I do have one little story of intuition because I love intuitive stories. The other day, because your intuition, it doesn't have to be about something huge. It can be something small. And this is a small story. So the other day, I just had some free time and I'm driving around in my luxurious car, listening to my music with the window down, and I'm just having the best day. And I'm like, what do I want to spend my time doing for the next couple of hours? And immediately the voice that I'm always hearing, it's like, go to the store. And there's a store that I love to go to called The Store. And I haven't been there since the pandemic. And I'm like, no, I don't really want to go to the store. It's like, no, you need to go to the store. I'm like, oh, there must be something there that I need to see. So I go in and hardly anyone's there. And I'm walking around. I had the most amazing experience. And I saw so many products that I've been looking for my specialty cooking. Because anyone that knows me knows that I am a chef. I cook.
God, I love that about you.
Like, I bake and I cook and I'm a kitchen witch.
It's amazing.
And I'm always looking for specific things like champagne vinegar or, wasabi mustard, things like that you can't find very often quickly unless you get on Amazon. And so I I'm walking in and I'm seeing all these products. I just am like, this is my store. I forgot that the store is the store for me. So it was just the most amazing thing. And then I walked down the aisle and we had just bought new yard furniture, and we're just going to deck our yard out this year to just have a lovely yard experience. And so I'm looking for beautiful hanging tree things that are very unique, that will just bring me and the people that visit a lot of joy when they experience them. And I walked down the aisle and there are these 4 10 glass blown bell chimes. And I saw them and I'm like, oh my God, those are made for me. So I bought them, and we're going to hang them through our tree. And isn't it beautiful? Do you want to show them the other colors too? And this was my intuition, because the universe and my higher self knew what I was looking for. So look at the gold in this one. I'm so excited. And they all sound different. And can you see how beautiful those will be in my tree? And that was my intuition. And so it doesn't have to be for like, oh, who am I going to spend the rest of my life with? Or, what house should I buy? It can just be very, very simple things that bring you joy. And you can have intuition working for you in lots of different ways, lots of different times, all day, every day. And that was one of my experiences that just happened that I just feel so grateful for, because I found all these things that will enhance my experience. So I loved it.
I love seeing everyone's response. I love the blue. Oh my God, that's blue.
I know.
Gorgeous. Love those. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Yeah,
right.
And they only had 4. And I took a picture and I came home and I showed Jack, and he's like, oh, we've got to go get those. So we went right back and we got 3 of the 4.
Because you can't get 4, you got to have 3.
Yeah, well, I didn't like the other color that much. And I loved the little gold flecks in a couple of them. They just will be beautiful. And they have different tones. So it's just going to be amazing.
Was a surprise.
I know. I'm so happy about it. So there you have it. A little joy for y'all.
And we have a little bit more joy for y'all. That's what's hot off the press. Yes, the workbook. We have been working feverishly on this.
Yep, lots of new stuff.
And the lab starts on Monday. So if you are not registered, run right now and register, empathrising.com. It's the Unstoppable Empath Lab. It's all about you and your intuition at work and managing your empath self and feeling like $1,000,000 effing bucks because of it. So make sure and join us, www.empathrising.com. It's totally free. It's 5 days at 5:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And then on the weekend, we have 2 bonus classes that are going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about empaths in relationship, like romantic relationship. And then I'm also going to be talking about the super empath and the dark empath. So you have that information.
Those are the 2 bonus classes, and those will happen at 1 o'clock on Saturday and Sunday. Yes. So it's a full 7 days. It's totally free, and we're going to load you up with great information. And to get the workbook, make sure and register. We'll be sending the workbook link out on the weekend. I'm going to send it out actually tomorrow. So make sure you're registered. All of our classes will be done via Zoom.
Yep.
So you have to register to get the Zoom link. Typically, we would do it in the Connected Empath. This is going to be on Zoom. We'll put replays in the Connected Empath Facebook group, and the homework's going to live there. But the main thing will be via Zoom. And we do have pre-work. So if you're somebody that's just now registering, we have a little training pre-work for you to do so you're ready before we start. So get registered. If you don't have access to the pre-work, get registered. We'll get your concierge right away for all of the people that attend. It's going to be a blast.
Yes, and aren't we doing like prizes?
Oh, every single day we have giveaways every day for the people that are on live with us. So join us. And like June, you're going to have to watch the replays. That's why we do replays. We know that our timing can get a little crazy for people all around the world, and people have things going on. So that's why we do replays.
All right, friends. Remember to eat dessert first, because
life is totally meant to be developed, especially when you're married.